We've done a bunch of cooks on the Weber Searwood. We've done a bunch of cooks on the Recteq Flagship 1100, and the time has come to put them head to head for round one. We're doing wings. It's gonna be awesome. Let's go get it.
Basement.
All right, we got our chicken wings here for the test, Weber Searwood versus Recteq Flagship. I did dry these off with paper towel, and then I put them on a pan sheet with paper towels underneath and let them sit in the fridge for about an hour to try to get them as dry as possible for this test. We're not gonna season up front. We're simply gonna put vegetable oil. You could use any oil that has a high smoke point, and we're gonna go half and half. So I'll do 1 drum for the Searwood and 1 drum for the Flagship. And now we're gonna go 1 flat each. Now we're just gonna put the vegetable oil in and mix them up. Make sure everything's covered. We're gonna season these after they've been cooked, as soon as they come off, instead of seasoning up front for a couple reasons. Number one, we wanna get all the smoke on there, and I don't want any barriers to the smoke. Number two, because the Weber Searwood has the basket, which we're gonna use to roll the wings in the Searwood. And in that case, all of the seasoning gets stuck on the inside of the basket, whereas on the Flagship, they're just gonna go on the regular grate and they're not gonna move. So a little bit of an advantage potentially there for the Searwood. However, I will say I did wings on the Recteq at 400 degrees a couple weeks ago during football, and they came out fantastic. So I'm not even sure if the basket is an advantage anymore. They were a lot better than what I was expecting without the basket, but we're gonna find out tonight. All right, these wings are ready to go on. Let's go out and get the Recteq and the Searwood fired up. Well, here we are. We've got the Recteq Flagship 1100 and the Weber Searwood XL 600 sitting here on the deck. Don't they look pretty next to each other? It's gonna be hard to decide when we do all of these tests. We're gonna do at least 3 rounds. This is round 1. To get rid of one or the other is gonna hurt, to be honest. But we're gonna go ahead and get these guys fired up. So simply gonna hit the button on the Searwood and hit the power button on the Recteq. And we're gonna crank this to 400. The Searwood to 400 as well. So a couple things to point out about these two bad boys, looking at differences. It is a little easier to start up the Recteq. You just hit the power button and it just goes, and then you can adjust the temperature. But if you ran your last cook at 250 and then you shut it down, when you press that power button, it automatically starts at 250 and just starts going. With the Searwood, you gotta turn it on, you gotta wait for a little boot up. It takes about 5 or 10 seconds. Then you gotta turn the knob to your desired temperature, then press the knob in to get it started. Really not a big deal. Couple advantages for the Searwood. It's got a pellet dump. If you want to change your pellets, you can do so. If you haven't finished what's in there, you can just dump them out into a bucket, put new pellets in, you're good to go. It's got a 20-pound hopper. Now the Recteq has a 40-pound hopper, which is a big advantage because you can go longer. You can do twice as long of a slow and low cook. However, there's no pellet dump. So if you want to change your pellets, you're gonna have to manually scoop, or you're just gonna have to plan on finishing your cooks with the pellets that are in there before you change them out. Couple differences there. They both have hooks on the back for the upper rack. When you're not using it, you can just set them back there, so that's good. The Weber front shelf that you have to buy separate is at a very good height, just below where the lid is. I don't have the shelf for the Recteq. However, I can tell you that it sits all the way down here, which is a little bit awkward. So if you're doing stuff, your food and everything is gonna be pretty low, and I'm a tall guy, so that's not super convenient. Again, probably not a showstopper, but just something to know. Again, we've mentioned this before, but with the Searwood, I've got the ability to do this rotisserie. With the Recteq, I cannot do a rotisserie, but I can, and I did add this smoke box, which is absolutely awesome. But there is no way to put a rotisserie in this guy. Starting them up, it looks like the Searwood, we've got some smoke coming out. I don't yet see any smoke on the Recteq. We are gonna see which one takes longer, but again, we're probably talking about a couple minutes difference, so not the end of the world. But hey, we're doing this, we might as well figure it all out. All right, we'll see you in a bit. "14 minutes on the dot. The Weber Searwood has hit 400 degrees. And the Recteq is at 343, so it's got a little ways to go. I swear to God, the other day I did this just to test, to prepare for this video, and the Recteq hit 400 a couple minutes before the Searwood. So I don't know, any given day, maybe it depends on where the pellets are, how many pellets were left inside the firebox. Bottom line is they're pretty close. Both of the rigs are finally at 400 degrees. The Searwood's been at 400 degrees for a while now. For some reason, it took the Recteq another 23 minutes to get up to 400 degrees, and it was stalling at around 367, and I had to boost it up to 500 degrees on the app to get it to kind of crank eventually, because I got tired of waiting, and then I had to take it back down to 400 because it started going over 400. I don't know what happened, because the other day it got to 400 quicker than the Searwood, so it's possible that it doesn't handle cold weather as well as the Searwood. So I got to give Searwood the thumbs up on this one. We'll see what happens when we do round 2 and round 3 of the head-to-head matches between these two, but like I said, for now I got to give it to the Searwood. But let's go ahead and get these wings on and get them going. All right, we're going to start with the Searwood. We're just going to open this guy up and simply pour these in. Shut the basket. Now for the Recteq, I'm not going to pour them on. I'm going to set the flats a little bit over to the left because they tend to cook quicker no matter where you're putting them. And on the right side, it's definitely hotter, and we don't have a basket, so we're going to set the drums on the right-hand side and the flats on the left-hand side. All right, we're off and running. Now that the wings are on the Recteq, we're going to go ahead and start the rotisserie and close this guy up. We'll see which wings are better. See you in a bit. Okay, while we wait for those wings, we're also gonna make a nice side dish using the new Typher Sous Vide Station that you saw us use last week. I need an excuse to use it again because it's so nice. So we're gonna do petite red potatoes. First thing we're gonna do is open up one of these bags, and I'm gonna grab one of these sous vide bags here and dump these potatoes right in. Now I'm gonna take some fresh thyme and just throw it in there, as well as some spring onions, AKA chives. We're gonna do some olive oil and just pour it in on top of everything. Some salt, some fresh cracked black pepper. Now I'm gonna close this up, sort of mix it all together. Now I'm gonna grab the sous vide vacuum sealer off of the Typher. And there we have it. I heated up the Typher to 140 degrees. That's what we're gonna cook these potatoes at. So the next thing to do is just get them in the bath. See you in a bit. All right, so the wings on the Recteq look like they're ready to flip. They're already quite crispy. You can hear that. Listen to this. That is crispy, which is what we want. The wings in the basket also are looking pretty good, but I'm not gonna open it to test it. I know from experience that they're gonna take a little bit longer. We wanna get that molasses color all the way around. All right, we're exactly 1 hour in and these guys are ready to go. Now checking on the Weber Searwood wings. Those are also definitely ready. I don't know if you can hear it, but they are crackling. All right, the wings are ready. So now we just gotta toss them with some seasoning, and we're going with the Loot and Booty Barbecue Gold Star Chicken Rub. We're not gonna do too much seasoning because we wanna test the flavor as it is. This is my daughter, she's helping me. She's a wing connoisseur. I'm gonna give you one, you're gonna try it, and then you're gonna try the other one and tell me which is better. Feel free to dip. We're looking for crispness, we're looking for smoke flavor, juiciness, or anything else that you can think of.
Hot.
Hot is good. Let's pick this one here. Crispness, juiciness, flavor.
I think that one
This one's better?
is better, yeah.
How come?
It's more crispy on the outside and juicier on the inside.
Ooh, okay. Very interesting and very good. Now for me, I need to have a blind taste test because I already know what's what. So you need to pick one from a bowl. I can't hear which one it is and then give it to me, but don't tell me which one it came from, but you have to remember.
Okay.
All right. I'll close my eyes. Make noise in both so I can't tell. Smoky, good. All right, next. This one's better. This one is just as crispy, but it's more juicy on the inside. Now you tell me, which one did this come from?
That one was from that bowl.
Oh, big reveal. This is the Weber Searwood, and this is the Recteq Flagship. So you and I are both in agreement that the Weber is just as crispy, but more juicy.
Yeah.
What can I say about that? Did you taste any difference in smoke flavor, or not really?
I think this one was a little bit more smoky.
That one's more smoky, okay. But which one would you prefer?
That Weber.
Okay. Son, you're up. You don't know what's what, right?
I don't.
Okay. On this side, here you go.
I like this one better.
Yeah, how come?
It's more flavorful.
Our potatoes are ready, by the way. That was the ding. Okay, go ahead. It's more flavorful.
Yeah.
What kind of flavor? More tender. Which one's smokier?
This one.
Okay. So you said that one's smokier,
Yeah.
but this one's better.
Yeah.
More juicy on the inside. You think this one's more smoky, but also better because it's more tender. So 3 out of 3, Weber Searwood wins the night on the wings. Well, we got our winner there. All right, so let's go get the potatoes out of the Typher Sous Vide Station. It told us that they're ready to go. Take off the lid, and we'll grab one bag here. It looks nice. All right, and now we're going to put them in the air fryer to crisp them up. We're gonna get a crispy skin on the outside, and then we're gonna doctor them up a bit after that. We think we're just about ready. Let's take out one here. We're gonna cut this guy in half. Ooh, very steamy, nice and soft. Crispy on the outside, just like we like it. We're gonna put some butter on the top. We're gonna put plenty of nice granulated Parmesan cheese. Cheers.
It was good.
Good flavor, cheesy, soft on the inside, crispy on the outside, buttery. It's like a mini baked potato. Bottom line, the Weber wins the war of wings for one reason. It has the rotisserie. The rotisserie makes those wings crispy and juicy on the inside somehow. Don't know what the physics are, but it's true. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Battle number 1 goes to the Weber Searwood. We're gonna see what happens on battle number 2 and battle number 3. Thanks for hanging out.
See you next time.